guys.
Howdy, brothers.
Welcome back to another episode and another season of Whiskey and Water.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
We are here once again. Actually, coming to you live from my home office.
Home office.
New season, new start.
We love to see it. Guys, this is our 10th season. That is pretty wild.
We are super stoked for this season. We feel like season 10 is really just a crazy mile marker of how far we've come.
It's such a benchmark.
It really is. And so this season, we are really going to be honing in on female founded businesses. We're just going to have on, of course, some incredibly powerful, inspiring women who have really, paved a way in their industry, have, founded really unique, cool businesses. And we're just going to really get insight on what it took to get them there, their insight, their motivation, discipline, their routines, everything that, we feel like could help equip us and you guys for success.
Habits, all of that stuff. And there's something about like even numbers, like the fact that it's season 10, I'm just like, yes, baby, we made it.
It feels like very aligned.
Feels great.
It does feel good. And I mean, oh my God. And the fact that it's like coming in the new year.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow. Wait,
yeah.
what? How do we do this?
I don't know.
This is magical.
New year, new season, and season 10.
No, didn't this happen last year?
No, I'm 90%
because
sure
for season 9, is that when we rebranded or was it season 8?
No, we rebranded season 8.
Because but it was for the new year. For 2021, we started this year. We started the first episode rebranded as Female Entrepreneurship and Women in Business.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because we also launched Mood. So this is like a year. Yeah, this is like an anniversary of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, with that being said, we are going to take this first episode of the season and just kind of talk about our 2022 goals. We're going to kind of do, a brief recap on, how the year has been, Mood, Whiskey and Water, our personal lives. We've been really trying to take a deep dive and be intentional about like, the growth that we've seen in each other this year, that we've seen in ourselves.
In our business.
And just try and make 2022 as powerful as we can.
Yeah, as powerful as we can and like intentional, because I don't know about you guys, but
important.
For me, I was in the later half of the year when I realized how fast this year flew by, and it was kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it's upsetting me and my homegirls because this year feels like the fastest year for some reason. I mean, we're going to our 3rd year of the pandemic, it's really interesting. So I don't know, the way time is moving feels really scary.
It's crazy. And last night I realized I started off this year in a relationship with my ex, Juan, who we actually had on the podcast. Fun little episode. And I still talk to him all the time. We're great friends. But like, I could not believe that I started this year in that relationship when it felt like it was like
so long ago.
I
know. It's like the weird mix between feeling like it was forever ago, but it also just like flashing before our eyes.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into, since it's our season opener and the new year, happy 2022, you guys, because this will be launching then. We're going to get into some things that we have learned maybe from last year and what we want to work on for this year. And I have personally been feeling super inspired lately, which feels awesome. Like as far as content creation goes, I haven't felt like a burst of inspiration in a while. And I can honestly, I was thinking about it and I can chalk it up to the conversations that we've had on this show.
100%.
Like that is why I am feeling re-inspired to do my job as an influencer and a content creator.
We've said it before, we'll say it again. These episodes are so special to us. These conversations we hold so sacred to our hearts, and they really do re-inspire us weekly. And we hope that it has like half the effect that it has on us, on you guys.
Yeah, because truly.
It really, it's a huge catalyst for it's a weekly conversation that we're having with these incredible people like that. Like people pay for these kind of conversations.
Yeah,
this mentorship.
It's mentorship.
And I'm really, really excited for this new season because, with these female founded leaders, I really do think we're going to see that domino effect on our business.
Yeah, totally.
So really, really excited for that.
So good. You guys, it's going to be a fucking great year.
It really is.
I feel it in my bones.
Just don't hold me to that when in a couple months I'm
having a mental breakdown. But that's normal too.
Just remind me that I said this. I'm going to re-listen to this episode.
That's a part of the journey, so we have to embrace the ebbs and flows. All right. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the show, we do have a little bit of a catch up situation for you guys. We're
A
actually
very special catch
a
up.
very exciting catch up. We're actually going to skip our deep dive and our high and low this week. We're going to bump it to next week because this catch up is a bit of a story time and it might take a little bit longer than usual, but I promise it is worth it. So stick around.
So worth it.
Oh, where do I even start? Oh my God. Okay. First of all, brothers, if you've been here for a while, just know we have wanted to share this with you for a long time. This, and by the way, this has nothing to do with us or our business. It is me and my personal life. And
She's not pregnant.
I'm not pregnant.
Let me just tell everyone that right now. Because that's 100%. Everyone's on the edge of their seats right now.
I am not pregnant. We really lined that up for a pregnancy announcement.
Wow.
We really
Sorry,
did.
guys.
If I disappointed anyone, I'm so sorry.
But I promise it's equally as fucking insane.
Insane. Okay, so let me just start from the beginning. Like I said, we've wanted to share this for a long time, but to respect the privacy of my family and other family, we have kept this a secret for 2 going on 3 years now. So 2 years ago, I think, or like, I don't know, maybe 3, whatever. My dad sits me and my sister down, and I'm going to give you like the beginning of the story and then I'll fast forward, but just so you can like get the vibe, the energy. My dad sits me and my sister down around Christmas time, actually around this time, and tells us that he got a letter in the mail from this person. And he starts reading it, and it is this guy looking for his birth father. And long story short, I found out that I have a long lost brother and he's older. He is like my mom's age. My mom and my dad are 14 years apart. I don't know if that makes a difference, but he's older. He's like 50 in his 50s.
Yeah.
So my dad didn't know he existed. And he found out about him through this letter. So basically, the whole situation, how my dad basically knocked up this girl was that it was his first girlfriend in like junior high school. The family was, I don't know like how in depth I should get with this, but basically he didn't know that she got pregnant with his baby.
Mm-hmm.
The family sent her away. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She passed. And we found that out during Michael's journey. Oh, that's my brother's name, Michael. There's so many parts to this.
Which is also my brother's name.
Okay. My brother's name is Michael. I have a brother. It's crazy. So for those who don't know, like my siblings before Michael, it was just me and my sister our whole life. Up until this point. So we find out we have the brother. He basically hired a private investigator to track down my dad and then reached out to my dad because he was ready to try to find his birth parents. I don't know where I was before that, but that is pretty much the story. So since then, I have had, let me backtrack. Michael, my brother, also has 2 kids, therefore making me an aunt.
She's an auntie.
So, and they're older. They're like in their there's teenagers. So it's a really, really interesting, crazy situation. But since then, we have, we obviously met them in person. They came to Florida. We've gone to New York. We've stayed with him and our new family. He's come here and met up with us so many times. He's met Tyler. He's met everyone. And I've had a brother the past 3 years that I haven't been able to share out of respect for my dad. And obviously, like, as a father or like just as anyone, you get a letter in the mail saying that you have a 50-year-old son. Like, that is shocking to the core.
Crazy.
And, I think it just took him a long time to come to terms and like just not like accept it, but just fully embrace it, understand it. Like, that is some big news to have a kid come to you that late in life too.
Yeah.
So
because I mean, there's just so many overwhelming emotions that come with that.
Yeah. And like the whole story of how everything went down, I'll get into in like a YouTube video because it's a really, really long story and I want to share the details.
Along with really cute videos.
Really cute videos of us meeting him for the first time at the airport, crying. Like, it's so crazy. And you guys, he looks exactly like me. Like,
and they also have Asian flush.
Oh, and they also can't drink. None of them can. Well, no, Isabel, she drinks. That's my niece.
For now. She
drinks for now, but she also gets the same. She breaks out red. So it's like there's no denying that this is our blood, and it's just so nuts because I've been blessed with like more family out of thin air.
Yeah.
Like we actually got dinner with him last night. I'm going to hang out. They're in town right now. We actually just got my dad's blessing last night to start being public about
Yeah,
this.
so you guys are the first ones ever
Yeah.
hearing publicly about this story.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. I feel so blessed. He is the most amazing guy with the most amazing family. He's an amazing dad and like
He's awesome.
he's just amazing. And I can't believe it. Like now I have this extended, not so extended family. I have this blood that was just like doop dropped in my life.
Ugh.
And
I will never get over this story.
like
And I'm so glad she's finally able to share it because
Jess has been dying.
we have been dying to share this.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just that's pretty much it. It's just nuts. I mean, sometimes I'm still like, holy shit, I can't believe I have a brother. And it's weird because he's older, so like he could be my dad, but there's definitely this like there's definitely like a bigger brother bond.
Yeah.
Like that's the dynamic between my sister and him, the three of us.
And now
it's
you
just
get
so
to be
nuts.
an aunt, which is like a whole other experience. Like you gained a brother, you gained an additional family.
I have a niece and a nephew. Like what the actual fuck?
Yeah. No, it's so incredibly special and like just insane movie Hallmark story.
It is a Hallmark story, and I can't wait to do the YouTube video so I can share the details about how everything happened and my dad reaching back out to him and then us finding. So my niece, so I have a niece and a nephew, and my niece is Isabel. She is in her sophomore year of college, and my nephew is Zach, and he is a senior in high school. So it's cool because we're also like, and at the time they were younger, so we're meeting them at a perfect time too, where they're not complete adults yet, and we like get to watch them grow up.
Yeah.
And even that has been crazy. And so what I was saying was that before I knew about them, Isabel had known about us, but like it was before my dad and Michael met, so we didn't want to they didn't want to reach out to us yet.
Yeah.
But they knew. So Isabel had followed me on Instagram for like 2 months before I even knew she existed, which is fucking crazy. I have the original DMs of me finding out and then DMing her and being like, oh my God, hi. And she's like, oh my God, hi. And it's just crazy. It's really nuts. But yeah, I'll do a separate YouTube video going into the details of how everything happened. It's literally like a fucking movie.
Bonkers.
He also lives in New York. They all live in New York, which is where a lot of my other family lives. So it works out. And we've been able to just like spend a lot of time with them and get to know them. It's so crazy.
Oh, I'm emotional. I need a minute. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
And
it really is. It's a blessing.
It's such a blessing. And he really is like just, you can just tell, an amazing father, an amazing brother, and just could not be more perfect.
I know. It truly is amazing. Like if I have a fucking big brother, like what?
And like the love that you guys like have for each other, like just now, like meeting each other, like so much later in life, like you would have thought that you were like robbed from an experience, but truly like the universe just works in such mysterious ways.
Yeah, truly. And, like a part of me feels like I wish he had reached out sooner, and that's obviously something we had asked him. We're like, why now? Like, why reach out now to find your like blood relatives? And he was just like, I got so busy like having kids and like, I just didn't really ever think about it. I've heard so many horror stories about, people trying to reach out to their blood parents and their parents wanting nothing to do with them and being like, leave me the fuck alone.
It's such a vulnerable place to put yourself in.
Yeah.
Like he got so lucky. Just as you guys did, he got so fucking lucky.
100%, because his brother is also adopted and he reached out to his parents and he had a horrible experience.
Really?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So obviously he was like, it's not something easy to do. Like you go your whole life and I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking crazy that this man went his whole life wondering who his dad was, and it's my fucking dad.
It's Lenny.
It's Lenny Wong.
Oh my God. Crazy.
Completely nuts.
And it's crazy because like I think a lot of these situations are like, the dad was like a deadbeat dad. I mean, Lenny just literally did not know.
He didn't, which is also 100% a crazy part of the story is that he did not know he existed.
Yeah, because your brother's birth mother, got shipped away.
She got shipped away, and
they were
like the way it was back then too. Because my dad's older, so like he's in his 70s, which is crazy because he looked really young. But they shipped her away to have the baby, and when she came back, they were like, "That never happened. You're not going to tarnish the family name."
Imagine he is 70. Imagine 70 years ago, things were a lot.
And he
or
was
50,
like
50 rather.
and he was like 14, my
Yeah.
dad at the time.
It's
so like he was a child.
literally insane.
Lenny, getting it in.
It's crazy. And I also feel like there's really interesting parallels here because my mom also had my older brother Michael when she was like 15 or 16.
Really?
Yeah.
That is really weird.
My mom was a teen mom. And your niece's name is Isabel and my little sister's name is Isabel.
That is fucking weird.
It's just really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. And like so when he wanted to find out, we were like, why now? And he's like, well, I never even had the thought until I held Isabel, his firstborn, for the first time. And he realized that it was his first blood on blood contact. And that was his first instinct of like, maybe I should.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
Maybe I should like, that desire to reach out to blood family. But then he was like, I just had a kid. There's no way I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
So then he had Zach after, and then he just finally felt like he was ready.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Something came to him and.
Actually, it was a show he watched. I forgot the name of it, but it's like something on Netflix or one of those programs, and it's about an adoption story, or like somehow that's like one of the characters' story. And he said that's actually what enticed him. Like that was the final straw.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane.
Fucking crazy. So that Happy
That's
New
our
Year,
story.
guys. I have a brother.
Crazy. We'll let you guys know when the YouTube video is live. I doubt it'll be like the same time as the podcast.
Yeah, probably
but
not.
it'll go much more in depth with like the videos and you'll see
The
get to see
details.
Michael and the family. So
Yeah, very exciting.
So exciting.
Okay, let's get into it.
What a weight like lifted off your shoulders now that you finally get to like
speak
about
and that's been
this.
hard too. Is like I felt like every time we were with him, it's like I want to share him, but I can't because I get it. But I was just like,
I mean, that's it's your family too.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you're an influencer, we're so used to sharing and incredible special moments in our lives.
Yeah, and it's such a heartwarming story that it made me want to share it even more and like share him with the world. Like, oh my God, look, guys, like I fucking have a brother and a niece and a nephew, and they're like, and they're so sweet with us too. It's like, because Michael's like the way those kids act with you guys is like they don't just like
really,
yeah.
Oh.
I know.
So sweet.
I know.
I love the kids. I don't even know them. And I love them.
They love you too. And yeah, apparently they're like not super like lovey-dovey with just other people and other family. But like when they see us, they're just all over us.
Yeah.
It's
such a special bond.
It's so crazy.
I die.
I know. It's really special. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into it, guys.
That is the feel-good story for you guys to start your new year. And yeah.
So precious.
It's going to be a good one. All right. Let's get into it. First, I feel like we should start with the fact that I have taken the time to do a full-on audit of my personal life, of my professional life, and it's honestly been so helpful. You know who inspired me to do this is Kristen.
Kristen
Busquet. Yeah, so we had an episode with her a few weeks ago. If you guys haven't listened, that is a must listen if you're a content creator, want to be a content creator, or in this space at all.
She kills it. I mean,
she fucking kills it.
Honestly, like I truly enjoy following everyone that we've had on the podcast just because like of what they share, who they are. Like I really do recommend following these people because we talk about like cleaning up your feed all the time and like changing it to, reflect what you want to be intaking. And these people are just really incredible.
What you're consuming.
They're just great people to follow, honestly.
Yeah, follow their journey. So yeah, she really inspired me to take a second and look and audit myself. And I just really appreciate that and love that because I especially feel like with this year with Mood and the podcast and, you guys know we have so many projects running and then our own personal brand. Like we have a lot on our plate. And granted, we delegate a lot, but it does get to be like, it almost feels like every day is just playing catch up and putting out fires.
Yeah.
And if you're not intentional about creating the space to audit yourself and take a bigger perspective look at the content you're creating, or, and this goes for every profession, the habits that you have, just like a self-reflecting time to not only look at your like personal development and spiritual stuff, because I feel like I've been pretty good about doing that, but I've neglected like taking a bigger picture look at perspective at my work because it's always just like the next partnership and the next partnership and the next partnership and the podcast and the Mood and the clients and the deadlines. So I'm really happy that like I took this time, and it's hard because it's like you have to say no to other things, but it's like you have to
Yeah.
treat it as if it's something that
A
you're getting
task.
paid for.
Yeah. Or just like, something that you have to do on your to-do list.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think a lot of people might struggle with, where do I start with that? So I feel like we should kind of give them a little bit of insight on
Okay.
like, how does one audit their life?
Yeah.
There's so
And
much.
honestly, this is the first time that I've really done it like this. So I'll tell you just what I did, and I can't, say it's going to work for everyone. But personally, what I did is I was feeling like I planned out the time, like I planned it to be this week. So leading up to this week, mentally, I just like was giving myself time to ponder it, sleep on it, think about it at red lights, things like that. And things would come up. I gave myself like 2 weeks of mental space.
Yeah. And guys, it's not too late to do this now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Do it now. Start and make it, make it a game plan for January. But I felt like giving myself the 2 weeks to not like, to just kind of let it ruminate
Yeah.
rather than sitting and like making myself like word vomit on
Yeah.
paper. I just gave myself the space.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really had the time to like sit down and write it all out, but I've been kind of
It's like the
writing
whispers.
as things come to me.
Yeah.
And I'll, if I'm not sitting down at my desk, I pop it in my notes and then I transfer it over later.
Yep. 100%.
It is so important to just have those things, like giving yourself space in your mind.
Yeah. And I want to say that it's a messy process.
Yeah.
It's not a clean cut process
It's
at
not
all.
like, oh, I'm going to transform my life and here's how I'm going to do it. It's
Yeah.
like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? And
Yeah.
then,
So when you give yourself that space to be messy, like I said, we talk about whispers a lot, and it's like those like kind of in the back of your head thoughts that are there but aren't there. But when you train yourself to like listen and tune into them, you're like, oh wait, that's actually a really good idea. Or this is something I'm struggling with. Let me figure out how to automate it and have a better system in place. Like that's been a lot of my
Yeah.
realizations too. Okay, so now I'm actually remembering. I have like a master list of things that I had just like random ideas and things that I jotted down in those 2 weeks. But before that, I had 2 other messy notes, and then I had to what's the word?
Combine.
Yeah, combine. It's not the fucking word, but yeah, I had to combine them into this one like cleaner condense. Yes, cleaner note, and then that note became messy again, and so it's a messy process.
Yeah.
But just to give an example of like, hold on, this is gonna be a little loud.
It is a little messy.
It's very messy. It's very all over the place, but it like makes sense to me.
We're looking at our notes now.
Okay, so like the combination of the 2 other random notepads that I had turned into this random list. I feel like it would be helpful for me to just read it.
Yeah.
It's like very bullet point kind of random, but to me it makes sense. Notion. Subconscious research, because we had Danielle on and she talked a lot about subconscious research, and I never gave myself the time.
Danielle Robay.
Yes. And I want to go back and listen to that episode because she gave a lot of good resources too. And I've just been seeing stuff about subconscious stuff on TikTok. So I'm like, okay, that's something I want to dive a little deeper into. Just do some research.
And this is almost subconscious work in itself.
Yes.
Giving yourself that space and having like just like the back. And it's so great because it doesn't take up a lot of brain power. You're just like, hey, this is something that I want to, kind of think about.
It's almost a
things
flow.
Things just come to you.
It's almost
really
a creative
does.
flow. Yeah. I have multiple TikToks. Should I explain any of these or just run them off?
I think you can run them off.
Yeah,
because,
okay.
It's
2021 reflect / maybe blog post, 2022 goals, weekly checklist / schedule for socials, social content calendar, work / prime hours. I'll talk about that. Rethinking reels, poll analysis. I did a Instagram story polls, so I wanted to like take that data and look at it. Platform audit across all platforms, mood vision goals, whiskey and water vision goals, Instagram creator dashboard, highlight refresh schedule, TikToks in public. Like so random.
Yeah, just things that are
random.
Just,
Organize photo albums, Trello refresh, content list, YouTube shorts, deep work, no distractions, time blocking, response time. Okay, you guys get the point. But these were
not things coming to me as you fucking say that.
Yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good. So from that, I'll talk about the ones that I'm, a little bit more organized. But I just wanted you guys to see that it is a messy process, and it's not like I sat down and was like, this is exactly how I audit, blah, 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 blah. Like maybe I will have a better system down the line now that I'm starting to do this. But yeah, you have to give yourself that freedom, because like the ideas, those big like ideas and the things that are like game-changing ideas, they come to you when you give yourself space. Like, and that they don't come to you at any other time. It's simply when you give yourself space.
I remember I took off a day in 2021. I know that sounds fucking ridiculous, but like there
No.
was one day that I was living in the old apartment. I actually had cramps that day, and they went away kind of early. But I had already kind of like set myself up for like I'm not doing shit today because of the cramps. But then they went away, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go down to the fucking pool, take a day. And during that time, I had like 3 different like business ideas come to me. I wasn't even like ruminating
Trying.
on it, wasn't trying, I wasn't trying to like be in that space. I was just trying to chill. But like 3 different business ideas came to me, and it was just crazy because I was like, it's crazy what is inside of you when you allow yourself to like breathe and be still and just be still. It's crazy.
100%. Yeah. And it's hard. I'll be the first to admit it's hard because we have these to-do lists, we have these deadlines. Like, obviously we have other obligations, but I want, if you guys can take anything away from this episode, it's that this time is just as crucial, if not more. Because I do want to start implementing this space to reflect like once a quarter at least. Because I'm really like, dude, I went this whole year not sitting down and looking at what the fuck I was doing once.
And I was so much better about that the year before. I was definitely more intentional the year before. And I feel like this year I really wasn't as intentional. But I did feel like things were happening, so I felt like, I'm really just going to kind of see these things through, and wherever they go, they go. But yeah, this year I definitely want to be more intentional. And it's great when you're on the same, like wavelength as me, because then we can both be like, hey, because we do so much of our businesses together, so it's kind of hard to like not be on the same wavelength. But yeah, I definitely want to be more intentional, have more space, think about things more deeply.
So what I realized, speaking of which, is that I was like, there was this whisper happening in my head about like, I've been trying to wake up early and I think that's like where it started, but it was really about like, I would sit down and start working, and then I would feel like the day was over, and the daylight savings doesn't help obviously, but I was feeling like frustrated and felt like I'm either starting work too late in the day or like I'm just not scheduling myself out properly. And I had this idea of like prime hours. And I also had this idea of like, people always say there's 24 hours in a day, but there's not 24 hours in a day. There's maybe 12. And what you do with those 12, like, I just feel like there's this concept of like, oh, there's so much time, but there's not. Like, I just kept really feeling like I was playing catch up. So I thought, okay, what do I feel like my prime hours are? Like, when do I feel good working, and when do I feel resistance towards working? And I realized that I feel like anytime before like 9 a.m. Well, let me see. Actually, I wrote it down. Because I was like, it was on this idea of trying to work with myself rather than against myself. Because I was obviously resisting starting to work at 8 o'clock. So why like pretend that I'm going to wake up at 7 and sit down to work at 8? You know what I mean? Okay, so what I ended up doing in my reflection is saying that I feel comfortable starting my workday at 10 a.m. So I was like, that I could give myself 3 hours of work time, take a lunch. And then after that, I feel like I could get another 4 hours in. What time do I want to like stop working? I want to log out at 6, right? And then I thought, what type of tasks do I enjoy doing at different parts of the day? And I realized that in the morning, I feel like more creative, more inspired, more motivated. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to chunk it out to where the first half of my day, I'm working on anything creative, any content creation, any TikToks, any stories, anything like blog writing or anything that I have to like, kind of do creative, deeper work for. And the later half of my day felt more like I can start doing logistical stuff and start doing stuff for mood and things that just don't take as much creative juice. I would end my day with. And I'm like, why haven't I thought about this before? Prime working hours.
Why would you force yourself to work against yourself?
Yeah, and like, there are certain tasks where, like, the time of day does affect the type of work I want to be working on. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
So I'm like, okay, realistically, there's 7 hours in a day. If I'm working from home and don't have errands to run and don't have a casting to go on, there's 7 hours in a day for me to utilize. And like that means there's 35 working hours in the week for me to utilize. And I don't know, I just sat down and like kind of planned out a week schedule, like what I feel good doing on each day. Like for Monday, I
Yeah.
have regrouping and planning because we've learned over the past few months that it's really nice that when we don't have a mood shoot on Monday and when we don't have the podcast on a Monday.
We rarely schedule those things on a Monday.
We used to though.
Yeah, I know.
It's been like a lately we haven't, and
But
we're
I
like,
think that
this is really nice.
We like it
We
because
like it.
it's really like
It ruins your Sunday.
Don't like it. Yeah, Sunday scaries. We can control whatever we want to do.
Exactly.
So it's like, why would we like have an amazing Sunday and then ruin it by like having to wake up at 8 a.m. and like shoot?
Well,
not to mention it takes like planning to do, you know, the podcast. Like we have to touch base and we have to,
there's
you know, like
there's
meet.
pre-production work before both of those things,
Yeah.
and we would end up doing it on a Sunday and resenting it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Mondays
Mondays are an extension of Sundays, baby.
is for regrouping and planning.
Yeah.
And then I have here Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we'll do calls, we'll do shoots, we'll film the podcast. Thursday can be administrative work, you know, the just random shit you just have to sit down and do.
Mhm.
Saturday, activities. Sunday, rest, reset, no social Sunday.
Mhm.
And, you know, and then I figured out like, okay, what do I want to do for me time before 10 o'clock in the morning, you know? So for that, I have like any time before 10 a.m. is me time. I can stretch, I can journal, I can meditate, I can work out, you know, like that leaves me enough time to show up in my workday feeling like I've taken care of my like soul. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then I can like I can show up so much better for everyone else and everything else.
That's why I feel like I have to work out like every morning because I'm like, I'm just a better person after I work out.
100%. And then, so I have after 6 p.m. like off, you know, me house time. I could either choose to work out then. I can schedule out when I want to clean up my place, organize, do the dishes, do laundry, like just the household things that I know I need to do to just keep my life fluid and together and moving and not let laundry give me anxiety for 2 weeks sitting on my bed.
I can relate.
Maybe like a 9 p.m. off phone, wind down, read, journal, go to sleep. Love it.
Love it. 2022 is looking good.
Yeah. So that's something that I really took away from like this process.
Yeah. And we will say that that's, you know, this isn't entirely realistic for everyone.
No,
Obviously,
of course,
if you have a 9 to 5, you know, your situation is a lot different from us. But, you know, if you are an entrepreneur, a freelancer, you know, doing your own kind of work, we would definitely recommend trying to find what works for you.
Yeah. And even stuff as simple as like, I'm going to try to schedule out time spent on my phone for like TikToks and Reels because I for a while I was like resisting that. Like I'm like, get off my phone, blah, blah, blah. But a big part of what we do, a necessity of what we do is being on the pulse.
Yeah.
We have to watch Reels. And we have to watch TikToks.
And it's definitely like once I kind of made that like
connection,
that like kind of got over that mental hurdle, I definitely think it's changed my content a lot because it's changed how I look at it. Like now that I scroll, it's hard for me to like look at things that aren't related to like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I kind of feel weird because I'm like I should be like enjoying this and just watching shit.
Yeah.
But I scroll until it's something that I feel
you can
like
save for you to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like that's how I'm scrolling lately.
Yeah.
It's literally
100%.
It's literally research, and I still enjoy it because
it is research.
I enjoy looking at, you know, what I can recreate or, you know, how I can put a spin on it. But yeah, I mean, TikTok isn't something that I feel like I'm like wasting time on necessarily. I enjoy it.
100%. Yeah. And
whereas like Instagram, I'm like, why the fuck am I watching someone's story? This doesn't help me. Like this is
100%.
I hardly look through stories unless I find that I'm in like a hole and I'm like, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, no, I think I agree. And I just realized like, yeah, maybe I'll like give myself an hour a day to like do that because then if it's scheduled, it's like, that's the happy medium, you know?
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're distracted and procrastinating, but you also are on there getting like, you know, that's an essential part of what we do.
Yeah.
Another thing I put on my list is Notion. And I like task management platforms are so powerful. It's like your Bible. It's literally
Do not sleep on, we've told you guys about Trello a million
Yeah.
times. So this is really just, I think, a little bit more of an in-depth version of Trello where you can kind of get a little bit more specific.
Yeah, it's different. It's similar in different ways. I honestly haven't. I made an account. That's as far as I've gone so far. But there's some creators that are just fucking killing it and that we respect a lot that I see are on Notion. So I'm like, okay, I've kind of had my eye on it for a while now. I think I'm gonna start it. There's this honestly, shout out to this creator, JT Barnett. I just want to shout him out real quick because he's been really inspiring me and Jess lately. He's actually, we're like somewhat friends with his fiance, Sammy, but they're just absolutely killing it. He actually has a TikTok agency, which is a whole other conversation, but wild. But I realized also that I need a content calendar. And then
Yeah.
I later connected the dots and realized that I can actually do this on Notion. But I can't believe I'm a full-time content creator and I don't have a content calendar.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing now that I'm causing myself stress.
And it's something that you can have Taylor be scheduling out for you. Like once you lock in a contract, you find the date that something is due, and you can even have like create content this day, posting
Exactly.
this day, like.
Well, I just realized like I don't have anywhere where I can visually see what posts should be going live, what days, what stories should be going live, what days. And not only just like my partnerships, like that's first and foremost. I need to see that, but also like all the other things that we not need to, but want to promote on our stories, like the podcast, like my YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if I scheduled it out Mondays, I would be posting more about the podcast.
Exactly.
But, like if I'm posting about another partnership, I don't want to like blow up my stories too much that day. So
yeah, exactly. I was starting to realize like, wait, I'm like always trying to play catch up and like post my like to know it links and my YouTube and the podcast. And I'm like,
why don't you have a day for both?
There needs to be a fucking system for this. I need to create a content calendar. So I'm really excited about that because I think that's going to alleviate some just like mental space storage,
I agree.
So excited about that. Also, I think if you're watching on YouTube, we just switched spots. I think having Taylor and the confidence, we have I'm not sure if we shared with you guys, but we have a new personal assistant. We share her. Her name is Taylor. She's our project manager for Mood. She's an absolute fucking rock star. And having someone like that you trust and have full confidence in take over like such a big aspect of your workload is huge. It's huge. It's fucking no, it really is huge because I feel like I mean I know I can dedicate this mental bandwidth to other things now.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that like I don't have to look at my inbox because I know it's being handled.
It is such a game changer.
It's unreal.
And there's like I almost wish that more influencers did this, even if influencing is all you do. I think it's so pivotal in like your business, your creativity, everything. If you have someone handling your inbox management and your partnerships and keeping everything organized, like imagine you can think about growing. You can take the time to create content and scale and make your platforms even bigger. You know what I mean? Which ultimately leads to charging more, ultimately leads to more money.
Yeah. And if you ever wanted to, potentially dabble with the idea of starting your own business, like
100%.
It's, huge to have because then you can focus your energies on that instead of managing like negotiations and, invoices.
The back and forth with brands, like that takes up a lot of time.
Especially it's so nice to have, and something that we've realized lately is that like it also helps a lot with like almost like venting and like drafting up emails to like let's say if like a partnership isn't going perfectly, which unfortunately it does happen here and there. It's nice because you have someone else that's looking over shit. Like
you're like, am I crazy or is this bitch crazy?
Yeah, exactly. And then they can like they can have a little bit of a less biased stance.
Yeah, that's true.
And they can really be a great sounding board for stuff as well.
Yeah,
it's just one of those like really small details, but it's so great to have.
Yeah, I really couldn't recommend it enough. And one of my big goals for this year was to get a personal assistant, automated, handled, like set in stone. And I'm so fucking grateful that we're ending this year with that being checked off.
Yeah, January is about to take such an amazing running
Dude,
start.
already from her starting last month. And I say this because like I just think it's a game changer for anyone who runs a small business. Like if you, and I know it's a privilege to be able to afford that, but I'm telling you, we are going to make so much more money because we are paying someone to do this for us.
I
Like
agree.
it's truly an investment in yourself.
Especially because I know that there's opportunities that I've missed out on because
Oh my God. We've probably missed out
I
on
don't no.
thousands,
Yeah.
thousands of dollars this year.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like let's say like a friend will be like, "Oh my god, reach out to this brand. I just locked in a really great partnership." I'll draft the email and then I won't send it. You know, when it was just me and we were in between assistants, I wouldn't be able to send it for a week or 2 weeks, and by that time, the campaign had filled up. So the fact that it's getting sent like immediately as well is a game changer.
Yeah, 100%. And when you get someone who is like good at what they do, it is invaluable. It is priceless. Taylor is my 4th assistant this year. We are paying her more than anyone who I've paid in the past, and it is worth
And we did not blink an eye.
it is every damn penny.
We did not blink
Every
an eye.
damn penny. Her already starting from last month, January, we are hitting the ground fucking running. January is probably going to be my most profitable month of the fucking year.
Yeah. No,
Well,
it's
you know, last year.
What?
But it's just crazy after just a month of her working and killing it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a game changer.
And not to mention, so like when we had our last assistant, no shame to her, all love, she just wasn't the great fit for us. I felt like weird paying her. I felt like resistance to it because I knew that like I wasn't getting like enough for my money, and like I felt weird because I felt like it just wasn't like worth it. But
it
like
takes such a specific type of person.
But now that like we have Taylor, I'm like, name your price. Any amount of money.
Literally. I can't wait for the day we can pay her more.
Yeah.
So much more.
And honestly, that is such an incredible place. That's an incredible place to be at as business owners as well. We actually recently gave her a raise for mood stuff. And it's honestly just great to like love and value your employees that much that like you really do want to give them the world.
Yeah. And I'll say that's like one thing, we're humble and we are humble queens. But that's something that I'm proud of us because I know we're good fucking bosses.
We really are.
Like, I know we're good leaders. I know we do everything with great intentions. I know we care about our employees first before us. And I think that is such a cultural shift of like our generation and how our generation is going to show up as leaders and as bosses in the work field and within corporations, like it's a new time, baby.
It really
It's
is.
a new time. We're doing shit differently.
And
we care about people. We care about their mental health. We care about their well-being.
And I will say that, like, we're not perfect by any means necessary, but, like, and, we're still learning. Like, we're both fucking 26. I know, gross. But, it's hard. Like, it's hard to, manage people under you. And there's a lot of nuances to things. And, you respecting people's time while also respecting your boundaries.
Boundaries.
But I am, like, really proud of us. And we also, like, this year we had a loss, with our, not a death, but we, someone left our company, and I think we talked about that openly.
Yeah, we did.
But after that, we had found out that this person wasn't as happy as we thought they were, which was really like hard for us to deal with as business owners who take so much fucking pride
in that specifically
in our communication and checking in on people and making sure that they're happy and that they're
company culture.
Yeah. And it's not just happy in our company. Like, we want people happy in every aspect of their lives. And if we can, help them in any way, shape, or form, I would like to think that we would extend that help. So, like I said, we're always learning, but I am really proud of us, even though, we dealt with that this year, which was like a huge road bump for us. It was a learning lesson.
Such a learning lesson.
And we've only gotten better from that.
Truly. And it's great to know, like, even though, after the fact, we kind of heard through the grapevine things that were being said, like, personally, I know that we did our best.
Yeah.
And that feels good to know. And even if that means it wasn't perfect, I know we did our best.
Yeah.
And that we will always try to do our best and be fair.
And it really did. I think that obviously it sucks that it happened, but I think that it was such a catalyst. I mean, for me personally, definitely, because, you guys know me. This is whiskey and water. we know that I have a strong personality, and we know that I obviously am probably not the like most easy person to work for, but it really did change the way that we kind of looked at things moving forward, how I dealt with things with Taylor. Like, I've had really honest and open conversations with her, and I've said, like, if you have ever in any way felt like, I offended you, or if you felt like I stepped on your toes or anything like that, like, I want you to know that, like, I'm learning, I'm human, and I want you to know that, like, I'm doing my best. Please come to me with anything and everything, even if it's little, bring it up in the moment. This is why we have our monthly, meetings with each employee to like talk about these things, give them the space to speak about us candidly with no repercussions. You know what I mean? So I think that it was really a catalyst. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
like just in the business alone, thinking about the past year and everything we've learned, like it's really
We've grown so
it's a
much.
beautiful journey. It truly is, and it's so nice that we have each other.
It really
We get
is.
to like bounce things off and validate things and talk things out because yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah, especially when, I mean, I know that it's huge for me to have Olivia because of, of my stronger personality. It's hard to kind of know if I'm, coming on too strong or if I'm being too harsh in certain things. And, a lot of times she does tell me, yeah, you need to chill out. But sometimes she's like, no, that was warranted. You're
Yeah,
fine. You're good. And I can feel validated within that.
facts. No printer.
We kind of got on a tangent, but you want to keep going on
Yeah,
your
we
goals?
we did. There's a few more things for my audit that I realized, and then we can get into like the smaller things, like personal goals, any habits that
Hmm.
we want to work on next year. One thing that I realized is that I might consider getting a second phone.
Love that.
I'm actually
I
thinking
really
about
love
it.
that.
As much as I love how much of a flex it is,
Material
I
girl.
truly have been thinking about it for the past week, and I'm thinking about, I'm going through the day and like envisioning what this would be like with two phones. And I think it would just be interesting because I find myself not taking my phone to sit outside with me because I'm like I can't because I'm going to get trapped into work mode and
Yeah.
responding to work. Like I truly feel like at this point I might benefit from having a personal phone with personal photos on it too, not to mention
Yeah.
not like sexy photos, like family
Nudes.
photos, friends with, photos with friends, because it is so hard to find those photos in
Ugh.
my batch of hundreds of thousands of, iPhone photos of us and
Yeah.
content and videos too. I'm thinking about like how all these platforms are turning into video platforms, right? Like you guys might have heard like Instagram is focusing on Reels this year, like they're trying to turn into a video platform. So I'm expecting I'm going to be using video
Okay.
utilizing videos a lot more, and like I need space on my phone to do that, And I almost just want to create a whole new iCloud and just have two iClouds going. I feel like it's time.
Dude,
I'm thinking about it, man. I really
I've been
am.
pro two phones for a while. Like, that's something that I've really I've almost like strived for.
I
Like,
feel like
I
we're
want to get to
there.
the point. We could be. But it's also like it's crazy that you mentioned it though, because I recently found out that my dad is kicking me off his phone plan.
Love that.
Really cute Christmas present that I got from him. Really
Corky.
thoughtful, really sweet.
Love him.
But shit, maybe once he finally does, I'll just fucking start fresh, two phones.
I'm telling you. And it's just nice, like, to leave one because it is because we work on our phone, it is so much like I can't go on it and not end up in Slack
Dude,
or
I
not end up
mean,
in emails or not end up responding to someone.
I can't tell you the amount of times I have gotten into bed, seen a fucking email notification,
And
had
then
to click it
you're
open,
done.
and then I can't sleep for literally 2 hours because I'm like either pissed off at what was said or or something needs to be handled. Like I woke up. Oh God, it's fucked. I
Oh
woke up
God.
at 3 a.m. the other night. Just as I do, and I checked my phone. It was after a nightmare. So usually I check my phone after a nightmare to kind of get me back down. I checked my email to another nightmare.
Oh
And
God.
I literally was getting into it at like 3 a.m. with this freaking stupid biatch who was coming for me, and I had to defend my honor.
Through email?
Yes,
A brand?
it was an invite to something, and I had communicated. Oh, but I was like, oh, I need a +1 for my little sister, or I can't go. And this was like days before. I communicated it like a week ago. She's like,
3 in the
she goes,
morning.
does your sister have a following? I was
Wakes
like,
up mid sleep.
no, she doesn't have a following. I understand she can't go, but I can't go if not. And then I had said, by the way, Macy will not be going without me. if I cannot go with my sister, right? It's a domino effect here.
Right.
And I communicated that. But when I had woken up,
Macy is our influencer friend.
when I had woken up at like 3 a.m., she had sent me my tickets for the next day. And I was like, hey, and I wasn't upset at this point. I just messaged back because it was the next day. So I was like, let me just, address this now. I was like, hey, I screenshotted it. And I actually, not at this point. I said, hey, I guess you missed no, she didn't miss my email. I said something nicely and I was like, hey, I actually mentioned that I wasn't going to be able to go. And Macy's not going either because you guys couldn't add a +1 for my sister because they were being petty about whether or not she had a following. We're going off topic here. But this is the reality of shit sometimes.
Yeah.
And she messaged back immediately. Now, I didn't think that she was going to message back considering it was 3 a.m. And she
3 a.m.
Yes.
Y'all bitches are crazy.
I know. I'm insane.
Can't.
She messages back
3 a.m.
She messages back sassy as fuck. And she's like, oh, you made it seem like you'd be coming. This is actually really last minute and we had turned down other people for you. So in the future, I would appreciate a heads up. I said, hell nah, bitch. I am not a flaky fucking person.
Yeah, don't come at my character.
Don't come at
my fucking character.
She really came for my character. And at this point, I had to sit up. The light was on. I'm full of fury. Full
Jessica
of rage.
Martin.
I responded.
You know better.
I screenshotted 2 emails where I had communicated this. Sent it back. Said, frankly, you're not misunderstanding. You just don't know how to read. And I said I said it nicely, but I said it stern. I said, I don't appreciate your tone considering I don't feel like I'm a flaky person. And I fucking sent that shit back. And and you know what I did? I CC'd the co-founder of the company because I was like, you're not going to come for me. But I had the co-founder's email. So I CC'd him.
Hell
and
yeah.
I said, don't fucking talk dirty on my name.
So, moral of the story, brothers, is that we need 2 phones so that we can avoid this situation at 3 a.m. next time.
Like that would be the biggest reason for me to get a second phone.
Yeah.
Is like me checking my emails at night. It's my toxic trait.
Red flag.
It's my red flag.
Your red flag.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking about that. And I'm also thinking about how that would help me get into kind of like more of a deep work sessions throughout my day.
Yeah.
There's this book by Cal Newport. He wrote Digital Minimalism. He also wrote a book called Deep Work, which I've been meaning to read. And it's just basically how like our brains and all the distractions and the apps and the social media, like we check our phones every 20 fucking seconds. And I think it's really unhealthy.
Doesn't the 4-hour work week kind of allude to like deep work as well? I don't know because I haven't read it.
I don't remember offhand, but it's not ringing a bell. But the concept is basically that you're sitting for hours at a time with no distraction. So like not checking your phone, not checking your email. And
imagine
I realized,
much money you'd get done.
Dude, and it's crazy because I realized how hard it is to do this when I was doing this audit. So like I tried to give you a heads up, be like, hey, I'm unavailable. I put my phone on like a do not disturb. I had to exit out of my calendar, of my mail, of my Slack. I had to exit out of all those windows for me to just sit and be able to like do this audit. And I still like Slack was still blowing up on my phone and this was still happening there. And it's like people needed answers from me. So it's like I have the anxiety of knowing that their work can't get done because they're waiting on my response.
Yeah.
And
but then again, there's also something that really changed my perspective on this kind of thing. And it was that like nothing is like
as
urgent as we fucking think it is.
No, 100%.
Of course, like it would be ideal to get back to, our clients ASAP.
Or Taylor.
Yeah, or Taylor. But, realistically, and of course, we'll still do our best to do those things, but doesn't really matter.
No, 100% it doesn't. But there's still this like subconscious anxiety of knowing that it's like waiting there. Like I just want to close out the tab,
Yeah, of course.
And it's like I close everything out and then Kennedy's like, hey, I need you to sign this contract. And she's been waiting for me to sign it for a week. So I'm like, fuck, let me just do one more thing. And an hour later, I'm like, doing all these things not for other people but like that people need from me, and an hour goes by and I'm like, fucking god damn it, god damn it, like how does this happen? So I also feel like the second phone would help with that, and it also made me realize maybe I should block out like response time as a part
Yeah.
of my day.
Yeah, like
Like,
you
you
can
know,
for
like,
sure expect responses from me from you
right.
know 10 to
Because
11 and
if
then 2
not,
to 4.
you spend the whole day just
Yeah.
responding to
Yeah,
everything
putting out
as
fires.
it comes in, responding to everything. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll
And
batch that.
I feel like another thing that really helps too is having Taylor. She just sends over a list and then we get back to that like whenever we can rather than her sending a million things throughout the day and then being
Yeah.
like, I need a response on all these right now.
Yeah,
It's like, we
definitely.
get a list at the beginning or the end of the day and then we can address it right then.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like that would just help me my productivity, my workflow, like my bandwidth to just not have my attention going all these like trying to get something done and then boom, and then boom, and then bing, and then boom, like and
Mhm.
just getting the work done, no distractions,
Bing bong.
and then bing bong, and then having like an hour dedicated to getting back to people.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And like I would not have had this realization had I not given myself space.
So true, bestie.
So crazy. Okay, the last thing for my audit, guys. Instagram Reels versus TikToks. I have learned in the past week that those are two very different types of
Oh my God.
content,
I came to this realization as
and
well.
we've been doing it wrong.
Well, that's why I don't
We've
reshare.
been doing
You
it
know, all
wrong.
those I don't if you're not on my TikTok, then you don't see the content unless I maybe posted to stories. But I've been going like a lot harder on TikTok than I have in the past, and I do not reshare the content to Instagram because I know it's just not the same. You can't repurpose content
It is not the same platform. And
at
you
all.
can't like I think
It
at
doesn't work like
first,
that.
like I think Reels launched this year, and I think at first we're all like, oh, like I literally remember talking about it at Stardust with our friends and being like, "Are you guys posting Reels? I'm not. That shit's stupid. Like so dumb."
Yeah, we need to be like
But
more ahead of the fucking curve,
yeah,
man.
but like a year later, I'm like, oh, okay. So like Reels are being prioritized so much more. People are growing their accounts with Reels, which is like
Yeah.
finally something to grow your Instagram account. We haven't seen that in years.
I've
So
been at 139,000
we have been
followers for 2
we have
years.
been stagnant. So I'm just I had that realization. I'm like, oh no, I can't repurpose TikToks because
Nope.
it's also like Reels are for the
It's chuggy.
trend wise, Reels are like 2 or 3 weeks behind TikTok trends
They are
and things that are viral.
and things like if I were to let's say, like just for strategy purposes, for TikTok, I'm really honing in on like fitness stuff, but for Instagram, I would 100% do like outfits. I would do outfits, I would do fashion, I would
Yeah.
do, styling, things like that because that's
You're a
what's
different brand on Instagram. Not to say that
yeah,
we humans are only brands, but like your Instagram is a different brand.
100%.
And yeah, I realized that, and I like did some strategy, did some research on Reels. I went on my Instagram, looked at what Reels were popping up, looked at the trending sounds. I just was like, oh wait, yeah, this is which kind of sucks because it's like you do have to start creating a new type of content for the same platform, but it's fine. I'm glad I had that realization because I'm gonna really change the way I approach Reels.
I love that.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Of course there's not
Yeah,
the same as shit. Of course you can't repost this
I
shit and
started
expect it to do well.
I started seeing TikToks talking about it, and it was like,
Yeah.
you cannot be posting the same content. And I was like, oh, duh.
Duh.
And I feel like I kind of knew it because I
Yeah.
wasn't posting the content
Right.
because I was like,
You
it's not the
did.
same.
You did know it. I'm like, it's better than nothing. But at this point, I'm like, no,
I know. I was
it's
like,
not better
no,
than
I
nothing.
can't. I can't just do it.
Also, what I looked into was, ow,
What did you just do?
was just pull my headphone off. Instagram has a creators account. It's literally at creators.
Yeah.
I had never really paid any attention to it. Yesterday, I did a deep dive on it and they share some really great tips. So I definitely am learning okay, we as content creators and influencers in this space need to be more on the pulse, need to be
Yeah.
reading these Instagram updates. Like
Kristen?
we've been behind on them.
Yeah, like Kristen looks out for Instagram news, creator news, and we don't do that.
And literally Instagram is telling you hey, this they're on that account. The guy's like, hey, this is how the algorithm works. This is how to show up more. You're hearing it from Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't complain when literally they're trying to help creators.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna pay way more attention to that. If you guys have access to that profile, it's like if you go to your profile at the top, it's like a creator dashboard, and you should be able to see a bunch of really helpful tools there and follow at creators for Instagram because they are giving out really helpful tips.
Yes, love that. Okay, and then getting into a few of my intentions for 2022 and kind of how I do this framework, which again, I haven't really done the deep dive on like quite as far as Olivia has. I mean, obviously I co-sign pretty much everything that she's
But
doing.
that was more so of like an audit's so much different than like goals.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. Yeah, it kind of sets you up for your goals.
Yes, correct.
You're what you're doing is you're looking at what needs to be changed and then how to set your goals accordingly.
Correct.
So what I personally do, which I shared last year as well, is that I go on Trello and I make a complete board for the goals. So, you know, I split it into different like fractions of my life, and this is a good way to do the audit as well. But I have, like, you know, financial, career / I've really honed that into like, I'm actually splitting it up into like mood and then personal because they're really two separate careers.
Yeah.
Health, wellness, personal improvement, character, adventure / travel, materialistic, and then relationship and spiritual. And of course, you know, there is going to be some overlap in these things, but it really just kind of helps me, you know, see where I, you know, want to build out, where I was last year, and then kind of, you know, just change it from there. But I kind of have spitballed some stuff on the notes. I still need to, again, sit down and do that personal life audit and career audit. But I know that some things that I want to kind of, you know, implement in the new year is that I feel like this past year, I didn't do enough of what made me happy. Like, one, we didn't travel a lot. Of course, you know, we're in a Panda Express. You know, there's only so much you can do.
It happens.
And, you know, we're probably going to be in that this year as well. But, you know, as much as the world allows, I will be trying to travel as much as I can and really just putting my money there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, I don't know. I would rather just be like, if I am going to put my money somewhere, I'd rather, you know, have less money, but be doing the things that I want to do and traveling and, you know, living a little bit more scarcely, you know, whether it's like, you know, going out to restaurants and buying drinks and stuff. Like, I'd rather be spending that on travel.
Facts.
So I honestly want to make a goal of like traveling pretty much monthly.
Nice. Love that.
If not, like,
we got a lot of catching up to do.
We do.
It's been 2 years of no travel.
Yeah. And, you know, I think I have things planned for January through March already, which is great because, you know, that really just sets me up for success. And it doesn't have to be big trips. You know, I really just want to.
Something different.
I mean, I really want to do a lot of solo travel this year. You know, like, I'm finally, you know, single and like feeling a little bit more like myself again. And I just know how good I feel when I'm traveling alone. And you know, it's so easy to take, you know, a little like weekend trip to New York or Austin or LA or Vegas or, you know, wherever I have like friends and just like go see them, go see their cities.
It's a change of pace.
It really is.
And it breaks up the mundane.
It does. And another thing that I want to do for 2022 is I am trying to gain weight, and I'm going to try and be really,
yes, ma'am.
I'm going to try to be really intentional about gaining this weight. You know, I feel like I've been on my workout shit and I'm really happy about where I'm at in my fitness journey and like the, you know, the changes that I'm seeing mentally and physically. And so I'm kind of happy that I feel like I'm starting off the year on a really good foot. And I'm just going to be really intentional about eating more and, you know, just like honestly really lifting heavy and kind of sharing that journey as well. I definitely want to change my content a little bit, and this is kind of, you know, like where the audit comes in, but I definitely am honing in on like fitness content just because I feel like it'll be so much more aligned.
It's
you know,
so much more, it's authentic to you and what you're doing every day,
and it, you know, it inspires me, it helps inspire others. Like, I know how I feel when I'm, you know, looking at that content and I want to have the same effect on others. Like, you know, it's not just fucking pretty pictures of myself. It's like, you know, sharing an actual journey and the struggles and, you know, so I'm really excited about.
And the growth.
Yeah, the growth. I'm really excited about like sharing that content.
Yay.
I also really want to focus and place energy on like my happiness. And because I feel like I really lost a part of myself this year because I wasn't focusing on things that made me happy. Like, I was just hoping that happiness would, I guess, fabricate out of thin air and find me.
Cultivating happiness.
Like, yeah, you have to be intentional about being happy. Like, and doing things like happiness isn't just going to come to you.
Joy,
like, you have to find joy. And like, and there's so many things that I do feel it in. And so I really want to like do an audit of my happiness and, you know, break those things down. Like, you know, a few things are obviously working out. The beach makes me so happy, and I feel like I live closer to the beach now, so it'll be a lot easier for me to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Rock climbing, like doing these little hobbies like longboarding,
Yeah.
like these things make me happy, and I want to implement them into like my life, like like
Mm-hmm.
again,
You want to build it in.
intentionally.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm using that word so much, but it really is so
I mean, that's
important. It
everything.
is. It's everything.
Living with intention is everything.
So really putting that into my schedule, carving out the time for it, because if with how our lives are, if you don't carve out the time for it,
It
it
won't
just won't
happen.
happen. And again, I feel like we've been getting back into rock climbing, which I'm really happy about. I've been going to the beach a lot more. Like I went to the beach on Monday, and we went to the beach last Monday, and like I didn't feel bad about it. Like I was only there for like an hour or two, and then I came back and
That's
worked.
sometimes that's all you need for your soul to like to
Dude.
feed your soul.
And I went for an hour or two. I answered a couple Slacks while I was there, and it was fine. But I came back and I was able to like work, and I
And feel
fucking felt
good.
happy about it because I was
Yeah.
like, I got my little vitamin D in.
Yeah.
I feel like I served myself this morning. I came back, I was able to do work, and
I love
it
that.
just felt really good
It's like it's honoring yourself.
for sure. And then let's see.
I feel like happiness is more like fleeting, and joy is something that I'm working on cultivating. Like I feel like joy really comes from within. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
because happiness is almost like
It's like an emotion, whereas
but you can like almost like feed off of like others for happiness, whereas
it's almost like surface level
joy really
comes from
comes
a deeper place.
a much deeper place.
Yeah.
Because like you can be depressed and have like happiness in moments, but like I don't think you can really have like joy.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who has had a very hard year where I did feel like depressed a lot of the year, and I was able to laugh and I was able to be happy and have these happy moments, but I was not joyful.
Yeah.
So thank you for making that connection, because
Yeah.
it's so true.
Yeah, it is. It's like it, and I feel like you almost just need, like, you need that inner peace as the foundation for that joy to like
and
thrive.
And just gratitude in general, because even though I was in this darker place, I did not have gratitude. I was not returning to gratitude, and it was hard, and I'll give myself grace for that. I don't give myself shit for not finding great gratitude and certain things, but I don't know, I feel really good in like my current space, even though I feel like I'm still on the cusp of like digging myself out of that little rut, but I'm finding a lot more gratitude in like my space, and like I love that we're like sitting in my like second room in my office right now. Like this is a time that I have been yearning
Waiting for, yeah.
waiting for, working for. Like
Yep.
I've made myself uncomfortable to put myself in this place. I've worked for it. I work my ass off for it. So like I'm just really excited to like have the office, like have the space to work in. I feel like that's going to be a huge catalyst for my work life as well, because I've just been working like from my couch and from
And I will
odd
say,
places.
you moving to Fort Lauderdale, I think, was such a good move.
Dude,
Even just
I love that you
besides
said
us
that.
and how obviously how impactful it is for our relationship and our businesses.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was just a good, healthy move.
Dude, I think so too. And I want to say that I was so scared. I was like, why am I doing this? I'm going to fucking hate my life. It's going to be so
Because Miami
boring.
was like your safe space.
For sure. And I'm super comfortable there, but people like have been asking me like, oh, like how's Fort Lauderdale? Are you liking it? Like, how is it? And I'm like, move here. It
Yeah,
is.
I know.
I'm enjoying it so much. I
Just
feel
like a different vibe.
I feel so much more aligned. I can like go to the beach, park right on the beach.
Yeah.
I'm not like stressing out about
Where you're gonna park.
where I'm gonna park, and we're walking a mile down to the beach, and I'm not so worried about, like, I can sit there all day on the beach and like not have like 10 guys come up to me and like, or any guys.
It's all
you know
just
what I
like
mean?
retired folks and people
Yeah.
minding their own business and enjoying the beach.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say that there's not pros and cons, and I still love to go out, and I have friends there and whatnot, but like as a whole, I feel a lot happier in my current environment, neighborhood, space.
Yay.
Like I feel, safer, a walking nugget. Like there's, just so many little things that, we take for granted, but I feel so much better in this space.
So happy.
Yeah. I also something that I, want to add is that I also made a what I want in a partner list.
Very important.
Because I obviously like I'm dating, and I am such an emotional person that I think I romanticize people really easily. I know that's something that I do. I'm just, like
Tell me your red flags.
yeah. But I also can see people for what they are,
Mm-hmm.
but and I don't want to continue like making excuses for people who aren't giving me 100%, which is
Mm-hmm.
something that I did this year.
Yeah.
And so I decided to like, I've always heard like on TikTok, people will be like, oh, make a list, make a list. And I always thought that was like so
Cringy.
cringy. Yeah. And I was like, no, I can just, tell if someone, but I realized that if I made this list of my fucking non-negotiables, that I would not settle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to manifest a partner who really does check off all these boxes for me. And I'm not going to like, oh, they don't have this. So, but they have all these other things. No.
No.
I want it all.
Yeah.
I deserve it all. I want it all. These are all things that I check off for myself. So why would I request any less in a partner?
Period.
So I feel like that's also going to be a game changer for me, because and anyone that is really looking to find a partner, like of course I want to have fun, and I'm gonna have fun. But I do feel like it's gonna help me get a lot of clarity on like who I'm allowing into my life.
Yeah, and that's such a huge pillar of everyone's
Yeah,
lives. You know?
like it's we don't talk about it a lot, but it is such a huge part. And like I'm a relationship person, and I feel like I get into relationships. I get into like situationships kind of easily because I do care about people so deeply, and that's totally fine. I just feel like this will help me have healthy boundaries.
Love that. Love that so much. And yeah, you have to, the way you're intentional about everything else in your life, you have to be intentional about your partner. Of course.
Period.
Yeah, period. Love that.
Also, Liv got me a Kindle for Christmas.
Yay. We're
Let's
reading
talk about that really
more.
quick. So I will be reading a lot more, hopefully, in 2022. I will be. I'm manifesting it now. I'm putting that into existence.
Just make it your goal and carve out the time. Like I
Yeah.
have 20 minutes a day of reading. And honestly, I think right before nighttime is my sweet spot.
I'm excited. I
Yeah.
feel like the Kindle's going to be a game changer. I know it was a game changer for you.
Such a game changer, you guys.
I mean, we also had on a guest this year who has read like I think,
hundreds of books
like
on her
100
Kindle.
books this year.
And she swears by it.
And she swears by it. So I'm about to be like her. I'm trying to get like you.
I'm trying to
my
get
boy.
like you. Yeah, no, it is a game changer. I definitely suggest reading it before bed instead of scrolling. Like
Mhm.
what I've been doing lately is and I've been doing this kind of off and on, but I've been good about it for the last few weeks. Charging my phone outside the room and reading before I go to bed. And it's great because I end up like kind of dozing off into a really peaceful sleep, like
Mhm.
while I'm reading. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, time for beddy bye.
Yeah.
And
Love
it's
that.
so nice. And then I noticed such a difference between when I do that and that versus when I'm on TikTok or on, like there's just a time and place for those things. And right before you go to sleep is not it. Like
Mm-mm.
you're feeding your mind. I can
It
hear
fucks with your circadian
I
rhythm.
can literally hear the TikTok audio running in my head as I'm laying there and trying to go to sleep.
Rather than letting your imagination with the book run wild.
With the book, or like, I'm reading The Power of Now, which is super spiritual and like fucking enlightening and just like grounding and, all those things. And yeah, it's just, there's a time and place. I
Mhm.
think I'm really going to be super strict about that rule with myself this year and just working on like creating those healthy habits and getting rid of my unhealthy habits.
Mhm.
So yeah, guys, I think that we pretty much dove in. I have like a few other goals, like personally, like plan my wedding, get a fucking house, which is up in the air. We want to get verified, which is going to happen soon. We're making that happen soon.
Yes.
We want to like get our mood employees full time and take some big like trips this year, travel wise. So it's going to be a great fucking year. You guys are on the journey with us, and we're so happy you're here.
And honestly, just so grateful for this podcast. So grateful for the guests that we've had on this past year. This next year is going to bring so much good stuff. So many incredible conversations. So
excited. And I'm so grateful we're so grateful for this community. Someone commented on my TikTok randomly and was like, Whiskey and Water listener here. I listen every week.
I saw that.
And I'm like, yo, what's up, brother?
I saw that.
So yeah, we absolutely love hearing from you guys. Take a screenshot. Let us know you're listening. Let us know like what you took away from this episode. If you're feeling generous, write us a review on iTunes, rating and review. That always helps us. And yeah, you guys fucking kill it this year. Do a self audit, write your goals, and let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it, brothers.
Let's get into it. Okay, bye. Have a great week. We love you.
We love you.
Bye.